Inter have sent a loan proposal for Akanji.
Inter have sent a loan proposal to Akanji.
And Akanji has said yes to Inter.
Oh, here we go.
That's Romano.
I thought we were going to get Akanji because Ed Aaron said it's understood that Akanji's representatives are continuing to discuss a potential move away from Man City before today's deadline. However, it's looking increasingly likely that he could stay.
Well, Romano is now saying he's potentially off to Inter.
We should do our best to get that done. We're talking about 15 million euros to get it done.
Well, it's looking like a loan deal. Loan deal.
Surely, if they're willing to let him go out on loan, like their priority would be to sell him.
You'd think so, but seems as though Inter. I don't know why has it gone so quiet with us? What's the sticking point? We haven't really heard.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, 15 million seems as though it's definitely in our remit. Apparently, he wanted to come to a club that's going to play Champions League football. He doesn't have to leave England. So I don't know. I don't know why that deal wouldn't go through if that's what they were talking about. But it seems as though that's stalled for some reason, and Inter are going to swoop it on loan.
Another story regarding Manor Solomon, as Manor Solomon from Alistair Gold says that is understood to want to remain at Tottenham beyond this window. The club are still willing to listen to offers for the player before all parties make their final decision. And Kat Lucas from the iPaper says Manor Solomon is now set to stay at Tottenham Hotspur. Leeds had considered a renewed move, but after Buonanotte deal collapsed, but Thomas Frank has seen enough to give the winger another opportunity unless something changes late in the day. I do suspect like someone's going to come in with a late loan move for Manor Solomon.
Yeah,
However,
I think who was it? Gary Jacob, I think, said Palace have come in for him. Yeah, Palace have registered an interest in Manor Solomon.
So I do suspect like a late loan move will happen for Manor Solomon. However, if it's true that Thomas Frank has been impressed with what he's seen behind the scenes, then I'd be willing to give him a go. I think if he is to stay, though, I think probably one out of Manor, Odebear and Tell would have to be left out the Champions League squad, as we would have too many players.
Yeah, and it's most likely to be Manor, I would say. But I think he's got to probably be okay with that if he's staying. I do suspect he'll probably get a last minute loan. I am surprised that no one's come in for him. I thought he would have been. There would be a few clubs interested because he had such a great loan spell at Leeds, and it's a shame for him because he, as I say, it's in the last 2 years, like through no fault of his own, things have gone a bit wrong. Obviously, he had the injury that ruled him out for almost a year, but he came back flying and did really well at Leeds. So, you know, and this summer, obviously, he did pick up another injury, but I would have thought someone was willing to take a risk on him. So I understand that Spurs. Yeah, I can understand if Frank wants to, you know, if there's no one going for him, it might be worth a risk trying to see if we can do anything for us. Because as you say, we kind of need a left winger, and maybe it's worth seeing if he can do a job. But we've got a lot of players, and if someone's willing to take him off our hands, that's probably the best course of action. But I'd be willing to see what you can do if given the opportunity.
Yeah, I would as well, to be honest. Another one is Bryan Gil, a Spanish journalist called Neil Sola, saying Girona's plans to sign Bryan Gil after the player is going to terminate his contract with Tottenham.
Oh yeah, mate. I mean, just that needs to happen a while ago, didn't it? So Bryan Gil needed to leave a while ago. So if he terminates it, I think that's again best for everyone.
Yeah, and also Tom Walnut saying that Tottenham have agreed a deal with Girona to sell Bryan Gil for 10 million euros.
Oh.
This time a permanent transfer.
Well, that's not a termination, is it?
Yeah. Gil also had an offer from Elche, but will return to Girona, where he spent last season on loan. Wow, 10 million for Bryan Gil in his last year of his contract. That's a great deal.
That is great business. Great business. I'm surprised they've agreed to spend that.
And that pretty much pays for the double the Moani loan fee.
Fantastic. All right. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
That's good stuff. Happy days.
Good deal for Tottenham Hotspur.
There was another report. I don't know if you had it. Apparently, Bissouma is set to stay.
Yeah, I've got this. I was going to talk about that next, so we may as well get on to Bissouma. As Rahman Osman says that Bissouma is likely to remain at Tottenham beyond this evening's transfer deadline, despite strong reports linking him to a move to Galatasaray. However, I did say this a couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if this deal rumbles on past the deadline, because we know the Turkish and Saudi transfer deadline do run past tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bissouma's still here tomorrow, but still ends up in Turkey.
Yeah, that's fair. And he knows he's not going to be included in the squad for the Champions League. There's not really a space for him at the moment. He's been he's had disciplinary action taken against him. He's not currently playing at all. So I think he's got to leave. It's best for everyone if he leaves. I thought there might be a few clubs interested in him. It seems as though no one wants to touch him, which is, a shame for him. But at the end of the day, especially how, another disciplinary thing going against him, that's going to be seen by a lot of clubs, and that's going to put a lot of people off. That's a shame for him.
Someone in the comments says it was off because he was late to his medical.
Brilliant.
But look, that's the situation of where we stand at 1:45 p.m. on the transfer deadline day. Obviously, we've got just over 5 hours to go till the window slams shut. And let's just hope and pray that we can get some more in, because we need some more action, man.
We're getting news all the time. According to Matt Barlow of Daily Mail, Crystal Palace had an offer for Solomon rejected over the weekend.
Rejected? Wow.
That's what.
Why would we reject a deal for Solomon if we're so desperate for him to go?
Don't know. Maybe
Frank does really like him.
Maybe it was a low permanent offer. Maybe want to loan him out.
Because it was such a surprise to see him on the bench on the weekend, wasn't it?
It was.
He didn't get a go. He didn't bring him on, even though we were desperate for a goal. But it was a very big surprise to see him on the bench.
Yeah, I thought we wouldn't see him again. So maybe there's a chance he gets reintegrated. And to be fair, like from Tottenham's point of view, forgetting like his injury stuff, all that's happened is he's come in, got injured after 5 games, went on loan and smashed it. And then he's come back to Tottenham. So, like, in other circumstances, you would reintegrate that kind of player.
Yeah.
After, he couldn't have done more on loan, could he, when he was at Leeds to impress?
No, exactly. And he stayed pretty much injury-free throughout the whole season. But it's just sod's law that he comes back and gets injured straight away.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate for him. I'd love nothing more than to see Solomon smash it at Tottenham Hotspur, or anyone smash it at Tottenham Hotspur. But let's see what happens. We got a couple of super chats to go through. The Jorical, big up to